Hey y'all. So this is my second video of the day. Again, I don't know when this video is going to go up. I'm not really concerned about a posting schedule just yet. But in this particular video, I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about aspiring to be the best version of yourself. And in the process of doing that, knowing that there are going to be some disappointments, some challenges, some successes, and some things that you'll need to continue to work on. I don't call them failures. They're just challenges and areas in your life where you need to pay a little bit more attention and give a little bit more attention to. And so with that being said, one of the things that I've always liked is the idea of community service. And I taught my kids from a very early age about giving back to the community. And one of the reasons I did that is because I just love the idea of incorporating things into people's lives that they may need, want, or care about for the purpose of their own personal success. Whether that's volunteering at a food bank, excuse me, volunteering at a food bank, creating programs for latchkey kids, having just a conversation with a senior that might be lonely, just doing any kind of thing that is a selfless act. You want to do things that's selfless. Now, even though you get gratitude, gratitude is not the right word. Even though you get satisfaction out of doing things for people, and that feel good is it exists. That's not the reason that you're doing it. You're doing it because I don't know why I'm struggling to find my words, but you're doing a selfless act. That selfless act is what creates that feel good. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you a little rundown of the things, the types of businesses and the names of the businesses that, and I have my notes here. So if I look down, I had to write it down because I was trying to get it like in order that I did the businesses. So I got a little taste of being an entrepreneur years and years and years ago when my husband was in the military. I met this lady and she had her own adult toy business. And so I went to one of her pleasure parties, is what they called them back then. So, of course, I'm in a military environment. We're in naval housing. We're around all these women where the husbands are going out on a Westpac, on a world cruise, different things like that. So Westpac is usually 6 months. A world cruise is usually 9 months or longer. And fortunately, when my husband and I got together, he was just coming off of Westpac. So I didn't have to deal with my husband being gone for no more than maybe 2-3 months at a time. I think that was the longest. He was gone for a couple weeks, and then he'd come back. But these women have a very unique way of occupying their time while their husbands are out to sea. Because, of course, most of the time when they're gone like that, there's very, very limited, if at all, verbal communication. There's a lot of letter writing and different things like that. And so every now and then they might get to actually make a phone call, but not so much. This lady that I met, she wasn't connected to the military. She just knew, like, she didn't have a husband in the military, and she wasn't in the military or any family members. She just knew, a couple of the women from like the clubs and stuff that were around town. And this is a very small town. He got stationed in Bremerton, Washington. So anyway, I went to one of the parties and I was just so excited. I was young, and this was a new experience, being around these people and, watching, the things that they were doing, and the games were just so exciting. So I decided I wanted to try my hand at it. So my first business was called Naughty Boys and Girls. And I used to sell adult toys, pleasure products. I did bachelorette parties. I did bridal showers and just kind of get-togethers and things like that. And we would have all sorts of games, and I would have my table set up with my lights and my things on display. And then I had an area that had like an oriental divider with a chair and a little table where I could take orders, and people were not aware of what other people were ordering. When I did my deliveries, they were in bags that you couldn't see through, because at the end of the day, don't nobody need to know what you're doing in your bedroom, right? Right. So that was fun for me because I learned a lot about how you mature from an intimate standpoint. This is another subject like mental health that was taboo. People really didn't talk about, what it meant to be a wife, and then what it meant to be a wife that had a husband who was gone quite a bit, dedicated to military service life, moving around, different things like that. And so, I was never one of those kind of people that I had an issue with talking about stuff like that. And of course, that made me, as a young person, kind of fast. They figured you was fast. So if you talked about it, you was out there just doing it out of control. So no, it just meant that I wasn't ashamed of that part of who I am. And so I had friends that always had questions about stuff, and they didn't have a problem coming to me and asking me questions about what to use, how to use it, how to deal, how to manage, how to, I want to surprise him when he comes back. And so let's just say we had a lot of successful circle backs. So we would circle back to the topic, once hubby got home, and if they had to leave again or whatever. And let's just say that everybody was very pleased with how things turned out, and I was very successful back then with that business. So then, once my husband there was a pretty big gap once my husband was out of the military, and we, had started a family, and this is before we actually bought our first home. It was so weird because this is when, I've always been a huge fan of Prince, because in high school, that's the reason I learned to play the piano. I heard my first Prince song when it released on the radio. Y'all remember we was pushing play and record on the radio, trying to record, and the DJ talking over the beginning of the song. That's how far back I'm talking. And so I saved up my money, and I bought like 3 of Prince's the music books. It was the sheet music, because I was taking piano at the time. Very complicated stuff, but I practiced and practiced and practiced because I wanted to learn how to play the songs. The issue I had is the more I practiced, the less I looked at the sheet music, because I played mostly by ear. So I could hear a song on the radio and would play that song, would begin to play that song just from remembering what the notes and stuff that I heard. And so I did a lot of, before I get into my next business, I did a lot of that when I was in school, and I got in trouble. And I think I might have told y'all this story before, because one semester, and I had my music final, my piece was For Elise by Beethoven, because I'm classically trained in piano. I haven't played piano in years though. One of the reasons is because I developed ganglion cysts on my wrist, and it became very difficult for me to, I lost the fluency in my fingers. So my piece was For Elise by Beethoven. And so I'm practicing. I practice at school because we had pianos like in these rooms and stuff. And I practiced at home because my dad had got me a piano. So I also had a piano teacher that came to the house. And what happened was I practiced that song so much to the point where I wasn't looking at the sheet music anymore. I learned the song from the sheet music, but I wasn't looking at the sheet music because I just knew the notes by that point. So I'm sitting in piano class, and here, everybody go up. It's my turn to go up and play my piece. And I'm playing, and I'm playing my piece. And because of the fact that I'm faking looking at, because one of the grades was I had to read the music. I had to play by the sheet music. And I'm so focused on the music, because when you're playing classical music, your body just has a tendency to move along with the rhythm of the music, and you're feeling a certain type of way. And old girl forgot to flip the page when I was supposed to flip the page. And I'm just steady playing. Everybody in the class was looking like, My piano teacher, her name was Miss Kennard. Miss Kennard popped me on my hand and she said, stop. And I looked at her and I was like, and then she said, what did you do wrong? And I said, nothing. I'm playing the music the way the sheet music is written. And so she said, okay, play from here. So I started playing from there. And then she said, is that where you just were in the song? I said, no, ma'am. And then I realized what she was saying is that I wasn't looking at that sheet music. I wasn't playing from the sheet music, even though I was looking at the sheet music, because when it came time for me to turn the page to finish the song, I just kept on playing. And so she knew that that was one of the biggest issues that I had, was because just for some reason, some people just have a gift for playing by ear. And it's not just playing from memory, but it's knowing that even if you're playing from memory, if you hit the wrong note, you know that because you can hear it, not because it's on a piece of paper. So anyway, that's my short story about playing the piano and how I got inspired to play the piano. So how does that pertain to my next business? Well, y'all know Prince put out song 1999, right? And so everybody was worried that when the year 2000 came, all the computers was going to go crazy and the world was going to come to an end and all this stuff happened. And that just happened to January of 99 happened to have been the year that I started a nonprofit organization called New Power Houston. The reason I started that organization was because my love for him, he was married, or he and Maite were together, and they had a nonprofit organization called Love for One Another. And I was already in love with this man. His music changed my life. And the fact that he also was so involved in like community service, giving back to the community through this organization, I was like, I want to start the first Prince fan club, Houston based. But the difference between us and any other fan club, we just not fanning over Prince and his music. We're actually following in his footsteps and giving back to the community. So it was a great idea, but I'm going to tell you what happened. So I started New Power Houston, and Shelly Wade, she's a DJ here in Houston, but she's moved on to like California and New York radio and stuff. She was in New York when the 9/11 happened. And she was responsible for meeting Anthony Frazier, who was the one that was doing Prince parties every year and all that stuff. And so he called them like-minded individuals, because that's kind of something that it ties into Prince too. But anyway, so I started New Power Houston. And so I had all these people. They were so excited. You know, the first meeting that we had was at Golden Corral. I booked a little, like, had them section off a little area. And it was all these people. When they heard about joining the fan club, they came. I stood up, and Chris, he, really good friend of mine. So he was my second, because, you know, Chris was hanging with me from the very beginning. And we stood up in Golden Corral, and we announced that we were not just going to be a fan club. We were also going to be doing community service. And I was like, at that time, we wanted people to sign up, you know, make it official. You're part of New Power Houston. And we were going to be going out doing these different activities in the community and stuff like that. So when it came time for people to actually come and sign up to be a part of New Power Houston, a lot of people left. A lot of people walked out, because their whole thing was, we just here for the music. We just here for Prince. We ain't here to be trying to go and serve no food or clean up no park, and, you know, stuff like that. So a lot of people left. And when I tell you a lot of people, it probably left me with 20 to 30% of the people that showed up that's actually stayed. And eventually over time, because we were scheduling stuff and people wouldn't show up, it literally was like maybe between 6 to 10 of us left after all was said and done, between 6 to 10 of us. So anyway, New Power Houston went on. I had that organization from 1999, I believe, until like 2005, 2006. And it was just an awesome ride. It was a wonderful experience. And there was so much that came out of it, because I have history in Houston as being the first and only Houston-based fan club for Prince. Now, Prince calls his fan clubs fam clubs because he don't believe, he said fan is short for fanatic, and he don't believe that any of the people that love his music are fanatical. So, yeah, we were his Houston-based fam club. And I have so many memories because of that. But yeah, Prince has impacted my life in so many ways, and it's just been an awesome journey. So now we're gonna fast forward. I bought my first house, and during this time, um, my kids, I had taken a year off from working because I had got laid off. I was working for United Healthcare, and I got laid off from working, and so I had taken a year off, and my kids were in elementary school. So classroom mom, baking and cooking and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I forgot about that business. I didn't even put that one down there. So actually, during this time, I had 3 businesses. So the first business, because I fell in love with technology, because I had gone to a trade school for word processing, and that was in 98. So this is like 2001, 2002. So what I wanted to do was help people, because I had a friend of mine who was in IT. He worked at the Houston Community College in a computer lab, and he was an instructor there. And he used to tell me stories all the time about being certified in IT, and how Microsoft would always solicit the help of these IT professionals to test out software and things like that. And that just really got me going. I was just so excited. I was like, "Ooh, I want to do that. I want to do that." And so because of him, my love for technology grew quite a bit, even still today. And he used to always introduce me to like the latest software and teach me how to use it and teach me how to look for certain things. And so what I wanted to do, because I had heard about the mouse certification, which is a Microsoft Office user certification through Microsoft. And there was also a trainer course that you could do where you could actually train, like be a teacher for the certification program, and your certification was through Microsoft. And so that was always like my goal. I was going to be a Microsoft teacher and help people get certified. And so because of kids and everything that was going on at the time, I never achieved that goal, but I never really tried. So, but what I did do as a kind of a stand-in for that, I started a company called Versatile Business Solutions. And what I did was I studied intently on the requirements for your mouse certification, because that's what I was going to, my certification I was going to get. And I actually created a course where I taught people what they needed to know in order to go into the business or the institution where they would take the mouse certification, because there was no mouse certification programs, readiness programs. There wasn't anything that you could actually, at that time, there wasn't like a study course or like a introductory type course that would get you ready for the certification exam. So I created that with my business. I taught people how to type. I taught people how to use, because we were coming out of the DOS area into the Windows area. So Microsoft was real popular during that time. And so you wasn't doing word processing the way that I started out learning it, where you actually had to type in certain codes. The screen was black and you see the flashing cursor. We were out of that area and now into Windows, where you actually had a mouse and a cursor to use, even though the computers were ancient and they were huge. And so anyway, I taught the people who came into solicited my business. I taught them how to use the new Windows software, and I got them ready to take their mouse certification. And I had 100% not graduation rate, but success rate for the students, that the customers that became students, because all of the customers who became students with my company passed their mouse certification on the first try. And this is from a person who hadn't even taken the exam. I was just preparing myself to take the exam. And so I did other things with Versolution. I used to do like resume preparation, teaching people how to start their own business and stuff like that. And I was very green to the industry, but people had success based on the recommendations that I had and the I used to write business plans and grant proposals and stuff like that. So they have very good success rates with the products that I produce. The other business that I had at that time was called Not So Common Sense. And it's similar to, like, I just recently closed my personal care line down. But this, I was real big into aromatherapy and stuff like that. And so what I used to do is custom blended scents. And I used to make candles. I made candles, um, like body spray and things like that. And so my business really, at this time, it went nuts. During the Valentine's Day, like around the end of January, the beginning of February, my husband was a manager at a restaurant inside of a hotel, and he was calling me. Like, I had orders coming in after midnight because it was customers coming in and he had like the baskets and stuff that I made. They were coming in because they didn't buy their significant other a Valentine's Day gift, and they were looking for something unique. They were looking for something that it made it seem like they put so much thought into, but really didn't. Because I had this one customer he paid $150. He didn't care what I put together. He was just like, put something together that looked like I special ordered this for her. And so what I did was I took a picnic basket and all of the like things that you would have in a basket, whether it was strawberries and lemonade and different things like that. I made candles and body wash and spray and stuff out of those scents. And I set the picnic basket up as if it was a picnic basket. But when you picked up the items, it was like a candle she could burn, a bubble bath, and different things like that inside the picnic basket. And so when he delivered, my husband, I had to deliver this stuff to his job. When I brought the stuff up there, the guy went crazy. He gave me a $50 tip because he was like, this basket is worth way more than $150 that I gave you. And so, yeah, so I had to wind up, I couldn't continue doing that business because my kids were small and I was doing it by myself. And the orders were always coming in at really weird times and stuff like that. But it was very, very successful. The other business that I had during that time was called Delicious Eats. And what I did is I noticed that like the teachers at the schools and stuff, they was eating a lot of fast food because that's what was around in the area. And during the times like the holidays and stuff, they were buying store-bought cakes and cookies and pies and things like that. So what I did was I put together a lunch menu, and you would actually contact me and order your lunch for the next day. And so when every day I did something different, whether it was meatloaf, whether it was smothered chicken, whether it was soup of the day. I used to do, I didn't do stuff like hamburgers and things like that because you can buy that kind of stuff from around the way. So all of my meals were home cooked. I did etouffee, things like that. And so that got real popular. And so what I did one day when I had a lot of lunch orders to take up to the school, I made like peanut butter cookies, wedding cookies, chocolate chip cookies. I did a bread pudding. I did a lemon pound cake. I did a double chocolate cake, which is chocolate cake with chocolate frost and chocolate chips, and I took that stuff up, and what I did is I gave away a dessert. Everybody who ordered lunch that day, I gave away one of the desserts as part of the lunch just to say thank you for your business. But this was also me promoting my business because I knew the holidays was coming. So when the holidays came around, it went nuts. I had like 10-pound cakes, 12 batches and these are like people different orders and stuff. One teacher ordered like 12 batches of the wedding cookies, and what those are, they're shortbread cookies that are a ball, and when you bite into them, they just melt in your mouth because they got nuts and they're rolled in powdered sugar, and they are so good. So I did that for a while before I went back to work. So my 3 businesses was actually making me quite a bit of money. And it was just a really good time in my life because I was able to be there with my children. I was able to go on field trips. Even I had my niece and my nephew at the time. And it was just really a great opportunity. So the natural common sense. And then so once I went back to work, it was several years later before I decided to do anything else. So I hit a point in my life where I found myself, I was looking for something, not really sure what I was looking for. I had met this girl at work, and I had gone to, her dad was a pastor, and she had been inviting me to church. And, you know, I'm always, oh, no, no, no. I grew up in the church. My dad was a deacon, and he was an assistant pastor. And, you know, I was a PK. So I was kind of burned out on the whole church thing because I was forced to do it for so long. And I just decided that, you know, whenever I was ready to go back to church, it would be because that's what I wanted to do. And so I finally did go back to church, and I found myself very engrossed in everything that was going on. But it quickly turned into a bad situation for me because there was a lot of things that was happening in my life. And, you know, sometimes you get tired of saying, just pray about it, just pray about it, just pray about it. Oh, God knows what's best. One thing that I learned about not being a religious person, because I'm not a religious person. I am a spiritual person. I do believe in God. I do believe I have a relationship with him, but I don't participate in organized religion. And there's a lot of reasons why. I don't have to explain that to anybody, so I'm not going to go into it. Just know that I learned through my own journey that sometimes you can't beat people over the head with the Bible when they're going through problems. You have to identify the fact that a person's spirituality is just a component of who they are. It's not who they are in totality. Regardless of how strong your belief is in Christ, your belief in Christ, your spirituality is not who you are. It's only a portion of who you are. You're still a person that have emotional needs. You have medical needs. You have financial needs. You're a person. That's why I talk about the different components of health and wellness. Okay, you have needs that exist outside of your spiritual needs. And so when I used to deal with people, it wasn't just that I didn't throw the Bible at every issue that they were having. Sometimes you just have to have a simple conversation that don't involve bringing up God, that don't involve bringing up praying, that don't involve, because what you do is you create a situation where you alienate the person that has the need, and they don't want to deal with you anymore because they feel like every time you talk about something, it's going to be, oh, the Lord, oh, the Lord. It's all right for you to believe strongly and for you to believe that that's the answer for you, but you can't meet people with that. You can't. It's unrealistic to think that a person is going to feel comfortable every time they have dysfunction in their life. They're not going to be able to make that connection. Sometimes when you're emotionally and mentally distraught about things, your brain can't process, I need to pray. You're in a crisis. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes before you even have that conversation about spirituality, you have to help a person figure out how to come out of that crisis and be in a place where they can hear you. Because even the Bible says, let them who have ears hear. Sometimes you're not gonna be able to hear the voice of God until it's your time to hear, or until you're in a place to hear. You know what I'm saying? People are not in the same stages of their spiritual growth as you are, and you may be behind them and don't even realize. So I brought all of that up to say that my next business, I started a ministry. And the ministry was because I, believe for years in my life, because of all the trauma I experienced as a child, that my ministry was for young girls who were broken. And so that is where the ministry came from. I was addressing the needs of young girls who were going through situations similar to mine, or situations that resemble mine. May not be the same as what I dealt with, but they kind of look the same on the surface. Had issues with communicating with their parents, who had issues understanding how to navigate physical changes, just all kinds of stuff. And what I got out of that was my ministry wasn't limited to young girls. It incorporated young men as well. And so because of that, my husband and I have always been a magnet for young people. They felt comfortable talking to us. They felt comfortable spending time with my family. And so this is kind of where the ministry came from. It wasn't supposed to be about we're starting a church and, oh Lord. And, it wasn't that. It was me allowing God to use me to positively impact the lives of other people because I could relate to the things that they might be going through, that I can show them that they are still accepted despite what the world thinks, and that was a really awesome experience for me. And it not only helped me to continue to learn things about myself and to continue to grow, but it also allowed me opportunities to learn how to communicate with my kids differently, because we grew up in the era where you got in trouble for something, you got whooped. And so I dealt with a lot of physical and emotional and sexual abuse in my childhood. And one of the things that I promised myself that I would not do was be to bring that generational curse into my kids' life. And so we did chastise them when they were younger, but not all the time. And then we got to a point where that's not what we wanted to do, because we felt like our kids were so intelligent, even at a early age, that why is it that we can't have a conversation with them? Their level of understanding, if you talk to a child at the place where they are and explain things on a level that they can understand, there's no reason why you have to put your hands on them. Now, some kids, especially in this day and age, with these kids jumping on these teachers and stuff like that, that's a whole nother Toni, because that situation is crazy. I can't even imagine my kids going to school doing something like that. Because, see, I would be in trouble with the law if my child went to school and jumped on an adult, and I'm not saying that the teachers are 100% innocent, but in the situations where I've seen, that's crazy to me. So anyway, yeah, that was that was called Heart Family Ministries. And so after that, my next, I had started a nonprofit organization called the Faces of the Village. The Faces of the Village, because by this time I had started college. Actually, I graduated 2016. Yeah, and I was in college and I was studying psychology, but I was also, one of the focuses, areas of focus for my studies was gerontology. I felt, I love the senior community. And I spent a lot of time around seniors as a kid. And so talk about dropping knowledge. Okay. My grandmother is just awesome. And then I saw my father's physical, he had passed away by that time, but I saw his physical and mental situation kind of just almost completely vanish. It was hard for me to see him that way. But the Faces of the Village was a nonprofit organization where we focused on providing community service to seniors, elder care. We, whether it's running errands for them, whether it's creating opportunities for them to mingle with other seniors. It was just a really awesome, awesome experience for me, because it helped me to know what it was that I want, how to take care of myself. I used to make phone calls as part of my volunteer requirement to seniors who were at home. And we used to have to call them every day at the same time and check on them. And if for some reason they didn't answer the phone, we would have to wait and call back. And upon the third time of trying to reach them, if we couldn't get them on the phone, then we would have to call their emergency contact for them to go and check on them. And so I had the privilege of really connecting with a gentleman who lived in a set of townhomes where, when I did home health care, and I was really surprised he lived over there, but he lived over there not that far from a lady I used to take care of in this townhome community. And so that's what the Faces of the Village was all about. And so I did, you know, I wound up closing that organization as well. Faces of the Village. So now we are at the last business, and that's what I currently have. It's a for-profit company, T.H. Green and Company. As you know, my name is Toni Hendrix-Green, and company was supposed to be my kids and my husband because I started this business, and it was supposed to be a legacy company. And what, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's supposed to be a company that I could actually teach my kids how to run, how to grow, and also how to continue through the generation. So teaching my grandkids and stuff as well, where they wouldn't have to worry about where their income was coming from. They wouldn't have to worry about working for somebody else. They would eventually, at some point when I stepped down, take over. And that didn't work. I mean, that didn't happen because their focus is on something else. This was my dream for them, but they're interested in doing other things. They're not interested in what I'm doing. So I don't know. Who knows? My grandkids may be the legacy that takes over my business when it's all said and done. The other aspect of my business is Monet Essentials. And although I stopped selling my personal care products, I closed the store, but I didn't shut the actual business down. So if I wanted to reboot my personal care line, then that's what I would do. So basically I do custom blended personal care products, body butter, body wash, body lotion, body spray, candles, body oil. And one of the things I wanted to do before I actually stopped selling the products was to create a beard care system. And I was going to use my husband as a tester, as a way for you to cleanse, moisturize, rehydrate, and grow your beard. I also wanted to create a facial care system for people who have complex skin. And so I typically have dry skin, but I do have, like, you know, a couple areas where I have it's a tad bit oily, but not extremely oily. But my daughter, she has oily skin, but the other thing is because my son and my husband are men who cannot shave. When they shave, the ingrown hair that they experience is so bad that you can't touch them. It is just like their skin is on fire. And so I wanted to create a system that would treat, you know, situations like that. So if they had a flare up, because my husband has been like that since he was in the military, or as long as I've known him, because when he was in the military, he had a no shave chick. So basically it would be that he had to use clippers just to get the hair down as low as he could without actually cutting it off. Because if he used a razor or anything, it was bad. It was really bad. And then we learned when my son started having facial hair, he dealt with the same thing. I've seen my son have ingrown hair to the point where it was like when you ruptured when the bump that was created ruptured, it was just pus. It was bad. And he would be in so much pain, and I felt like horrible because I couldn't do anything to help him. But the thing of it is, if you can't shave or you get ingrown hair anywhere, it's everywhere. If you feel what I'm saying, everywhere you grow hair, I'm talking about chest, stomach, pubic area, everywhere. And so I found out my daughter and I are the same way, because before I knew about the waxing situation, and yes, I'm menopausal, so I have facial hair and have issues sometimes, but I wax now, so I don't have a problem. Because one time, before I start waxing, I was shaving, and I had an ingrown hair right here in the middle of my throat. And it felt like it was on fire, and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger till it eventually popped, and it was just oozing. And I was like, what in God's name is going on? I never want to experience that ever again. So I started trying to figure out, like, I was using my husband's magic shave. I was trying to do all kinds of stuff, but I didn't know about waxing at that time. So now I wax and I'm good. And yeah, it's a little painful when you first pull it off and all that stuff, but it's nowhere near as pain. And the pain don't last long at all. It's nowhere near as painful as what I was going through when I shaved. And so my daughter, like I said, has the same problem. She has to use certain products to remove hair on her body, because otherwise she has some really painful situations, and ingrown hair ain't nobody's friend. So that's where I stand today. I have TH Green and Company, where I am a health and wellness advocate. I'm not shooting 100 right now as far as leading by example, but we're always a work in progress. And I try to, even though when I'm having challenges meeting my goals, I try to still encourage people to do the things that they need to do to meet theirs, because at the end of the day, we're all human, and so we're all going to make mistakes. Ain't nobody perfect. You strive. I think, even I used to say all the time, I'm striving for perfection, but I think even that is unrealistic. So all I'm saying is you just strive to do the best that you can, the best way you know how, and you try to take the advice of people who mean you well. So that's the only thing I can say about that. But yeah, if you're interested in learning more about who I am, I also have some puzzle books that I have on Amazon for sale too, and I will you can find that on my website. So I'll put I think the link is already to my website, is already there, but you can go to thgreenandcompany.com, and you will be able to see who I am, what I'm all about, my journey. I started a blog a long time ago, but I haven't kept it up. Excuse me, I haven't kept it up, but you'll see like some of my old entries and stuff like that there. But hopefully over time, we're going to be pushing out some new things for you to check out and tell me what you think about them. So that's what this video is all about. Just kind of give you a history of my for-profit and nonprofit business ventures and how I got to where I am now. I am not a millionaire, and I don't profess to be. Yes, I still have to work a 9 to 5, but at the end of the day, my business journeys have always been about learning how to monetize the things that I love to do. And so that's where I am today. I worked on trying to create about 10 different streams of income. If I can create at least 5 that are steadily bringing income into my household without wearing me out, because that's where I am today. Our passive income is so welcomed, and I would love to create passive income that'll sustain my family, so that we don't have to think about what we're going to do when we retire. So, and whether we accept it or not, retirement is coming, because I cannot be 70, 80 years old still working. I want to enjoy the latter years and be able to travel and do the things that make me smile. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. So thank you so much for those who are subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you being subscribed. Thank you to those who are coming. You're newbies. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Y'all go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Share my video out, and let everybody know what you think of your girl. Make a comment down below. What for-profit or non-profit organization have you either started or have you volunteered with, and have you ever thought about starting your own business? Okay, so we're going to get out of here. And you know, we don't do so without saying, love yourself, love somebody else, and until next time, y'all take care. Bye. If you're not already a member of the Fetch fam, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and download that app, scan my QR code, and get to scanning those receipts. You might as well take advantage of it. You're already spending the money. The receipts translates into points, the points translates into cash, and you can redeem that cash via store card or cash card, or you can donate to charity. Well, all right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, but you know we don't do so without saying, love yourself, love somebody else, and until next time, y'all take care. Bye.